Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 120th episode of Geeks podcast. And man, do we got a special one! I'm the Geeks Gauntlet champion. I am the wonderful Travis Snell.
I am the telling truth, Kyle Smith.
I am the, you stole mine, Taylor Field. Damn you, Travis.
I was trying to think of a better one. I had one today, and then I totally forgot it, so I just went with the easiest one that I think.
That's why I went with
I
it.
think it's been used in like many of them, like many of these casts on Something Wonder. So, and finally,
I'm the Piney Tyler Briggs.
So if you haven't guessed by our nicknames or the title below, yes, we got to see a screening of Wonder Woman early. We are going to do a non-spoilers review before we get into that. Yesterday, gauntlet match between Taylor, this little man-child, and myself dropped. Check that out. Highly anticipated. We finally got to play strikers one-on-one.
You paid me off to let him win. I had to do it for the fans' sake.
So you just spoiled the match. It's been out for one day and you just spoiled it.
They don't know that. Because for all they know, I could have won. I'm just screwing with them.
Okay.
We'll
Anyway,
just cut
check
that
it out.
out.
It's fun, and there's a bunch of other
out.
gauntlet. There's a bunch of other gauntlet matches, and two. So this is dropping Monday when we're allowed. The embargo's up. Thursday is when the spoilers version will drop. So there's two ways you can get it. One, you can head over to Patreon if you've seen the movie already. You can support us there, and you can get the spoilers review, or subscribe, and you can get the spoilers review on Thursday. Because I know there's some of us that have problems with the movie, and I think a lot of them are some spoiler stuff that we can't get into. But today we're gonna do non-spoilers. We're gonna talk about the movie. We're gonna dissect it as much as we can, non-spoilerish.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah, we'll still give you a rating and everything like that, but no worry, this is pre-recorded, so if there was any spoilers dropped, they're going to be edited out, so don't worry. This is going to be just talking more about, if we liked it, cast, things like that. So, Tyler, I'll start with you. What did you think about this movie?
I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Very refreshing to see a good DC film for once in a while. I thought it really impressed me. Lots of... Oh, no, I can't say that.
We had the same time
Yeah.
when we did Civil War a long time ago. We were like, oh, and no.
Gosh, it's hard to say without like spoiler free. I feel like I do this for every other movie though, but I don't know. It was really good. Very refreshing. Great characters. Chris Pine and
Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot. Yeah, it's
Gal
not
Gadot?
Gadot, yeah.
Gal Gadot. Okay, they had really great chemistry, and probably 80% of the time I had like a great time with them. Chris Pine did wonderful, like absolutely amazing. I thought it was a little slow at the start, and probably the start for me was the weakest part of the film, and then it just got better and better, and I remember at the start I was very skeptical about the film, and like it didn't impress me at the start, but then as it went on, I just kind of got myself drawn in, and really just fell in love with the characters. So overall, great film. Definitely go see it on Thursday. Definitely go support DC. Show them that you enjoy the film because obviously they need that support with how their other films. Not that their other films have done badly,
They're
but
still making
critically,
millions of dollars.
yeah, critically
This poor
though, they haven't
independent
done so
studio.
well.
Yeah.
So let them know that you like what they're doing now with the films, and yeah, that's what I have to say.
Well, it's funny, Taylor, before you go, I just kind of forgot when you said, like, oh, make sure you go see it Thursday. I love this review because for the first time we can do a review and no one can accuse us of looking at Rotten Tomatoes and being
That's
like,
true.
oh,
Yeah.
because you this is that, like, you guys hate it or loved it. We have no idea what critics think right now. Like, we've heard other people say, oh, I like it, but no score, no nothing. So who knows, when this drops, it could be like a fucking 20% Rotten Tomatoes. But, yeah. Taylor, what did you think about that? Or not that, but the film.
I was not sure what to expect. This is the first female superhero like solo movie in a sense. Like I didn't know what was in store, and it was DC, and you guys are kind of like making a case about the recent DC movies.
Don't put my name in there.
You guys.
You did give BBS a 4.
guys.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
see, before you go, no, I think this is a good collection of reviews because you have Tyler, who you liked or really enjoyed Man of Steel, haven't really liked the other ones since then.
Mhm.
You didn't like Man of Steel, but you've enjoyed all the other ones since then. I think you kind of enjoyed Suicide Squad,
I
but,
kind of enjoyed Suicide
but the
Squad.
rest none. I kind of enjoyed BVS, but the rest none. So you have like a wide ranging opinions of people that like, love these movies, that hated these movies. So it's like we're not like a full on everyone hated this, everyone loved it. Like everyone's very different as far as what we like. So continue. I want to say that because when you brought that up,
No, that's
like,
a good point.
if this is your first time listening to us chumps.
So as I said, like I wasn't sure what to expect. It was open water, and I feel like DC definitely impressed me. Like it definitely had a feeling at the beginning. Like I feel like it's Thor, very similar to that, but it didn't. It felt better than Thor to me, and as like an origin story in that sense. And then
I thought it was kind of a Thor Captain America mix. That's not a spoiler. It's just like you have a mythical character in like a world war, so it felt kind of like a combination.
Yeah, and I love that mix. Like I was never drawn to Thor really at the beginning. I watched it and enjoyed it, but I was never drawn to it. But then this, like, I guess that's kind of why I went in not setting any expectations, not being sure. But then it turned that around for me. I just got pulled right in right away, and it just, as the story progressed, it just pulls you in even further with the characters and development, and it doesn't disappoint. I enjoyed it.
For myself, I really enjoyed this film as well too. I think it was just a great change of pace of how the previous films were, and kind of just a lot more organized. When you watch it, you don't find yourself confused of what's happening or did I miss something. They explain everything pretty decently, and so if you're him and humming about watching it, I think you should go definitely see this and give this a shot for sure. So,
yeah. Well, we saw it a couple days ago, and I've had a lot to think about it, and I've had a very, very strange past with the DCEU. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Man of Steel. I'm really not a big fan of Suicide Squad. BVS I liked just enough. This is another movie I'm not really a big fan of. I think it's pretty bad. No, I'm completely joking. I'm so...
Fooled me there. What happened in the past couple days?
Yeah, I thought about this, and I actually Kyle and Liam saw with us, and I was like, the day after, I was like, man, and even BVS, which I liked, I was still like, there's like quite a few problems. Like I liked it enough, but I knew it was like not a great film for me personally, and it was so nice to wake up and be excited and really like a DCEU movie, to be thrilled and to be able to talk to people like, oh, what'd you think? Like, oh, I thought it was great. Like, I loved it. It's not a perfect movie, but I can still say there's parts of this movie that I loved and I had a great time watching it. It felt like a DC comic book movie that I want. Like, I've been wanting this whole time, and we got it for free. But if I would pay the ticket, I got more than my money's worth, because all the other DC movies, funny enough, I went in actually excited. Even Man of Steel, like I'm not a big Superman fan, but the trailers look great. I went all excited. It was funny, even on the cast previous, the newscast, I said I still thought I was going to review well, but for some reason I just was not excited. I was getting nervous. I was getting worried, and it completely went above my expectations. I was just like, oh, I just want this to be an alright to good movie, just something that's enjoyable and fine. I think it's more than that. I think it's one of those, if you're talking about the best origin stories, I'd have to really look at the list, but I'd like to say like top 5 as far as origin stories. It's a good first setup for a superhero, you know, and it is not a perfect movie, but it's something that I think in a sequel can get better or be better. It reminds me very much of the first Captain America, and it's not just because it's in a war, it's just, it reminded me of that, where some of my problems with the movie are the same as I did with Captain America, but like, I liked this more than Captain America, I liked this more than Thor. Like, that's the thing with most DC movies that come out, I don't really like them more than the MCU movies. That's why people be like, oh, you're biased. It's just like, that's the way I feel, but honestly, like, Wonder Woman, like, I liked it more than those two. I can like it than other than the first, all the Iron Mans. I like it better than the Thor 2. I like it better than the second Ultron. Like, I like it better than like a lot of other comic book movies, and that's impressive thing to do because we got a lot of them right now. So I'm just feel like this weight off my shoulders. I can finally say like I enjoyed a DCU movie. So now all these fucking people that accuse you of, I got called the Marvel dick sucker when we did Suicide Squad, and because I always be like, oh, what DC movie do you like? Well, I don't like any. Now I like Wonder Woman, and I like it a lot. Speaking of Wonder Woman, you touched on it a little bit, but so non-spoilers, what do you think about Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman? You talk about the chemistry. What do you think about her alone as Wonder Woman and Diana Prince?
I thought very good. She played that sort of, I guess she very naive with social norms and just like London in general, just being away from the island. She played that off really well, and just even like her scenes on just by herself without anyone to interact to. She just felt in character. It didn't seem like it was just a person standing there that was supposed to look like Wonder Woman. So I thought overall just a really good performance. Again, probably a little bit weak at the start, I felt.
I agree.
I feel like the starting wasn't set up the best in a way. Like it wasn't the best environment for the actors to show their talent.
Because for not to spoil anything, but like the first part of the movie is her origin. That's not a spoiler. The trailers, you should just see her on the island, and you weren't the biggest fan of that beginning, correct? Like in non-spoiler, you weren't.
Yeah, like I don't have a problem with what her origin is, just the way they played it out, I guess, and just it wasn't the most visually pleasing, and the acting wasn't the greatest, I thought, but I think other than that, like very, very, very strong performance. Yeah.
Taylor, what did you think about Wonder Woman?
You know, like ever since BVS, I thought she was really cool, and I had wanted to see a little bit more because it was very quick scenes with her in BVS, and they hinted at her origins a little bit, and just created that curiosity, like, okay, what's her backstory? And finally getting to see it, I think she did great. I will agree with you on that. At the beginning, it was kind of rocky, like at some scenes, just kind of how she was supposed to act at certain moments as Wonder Woman was a little bit kind of up in the air, but from then on, it just got better and better, and I think she just really started to live and breathe being Wonder Woman Diana Prince, and I thought that as being like in London, having that innocence, I guess, of like the world and such, really, I think she grasped onto it and just took off like flying colors. Like she pulled off really, really well.
Flying colors.
Like
Okay.
that kind of humor just really gets to me when someone in a movie, they can do like that kind of innocent humor and it's not forced. And so I can't say it yet because it's spoiler, but just those certain moments when she would be doing these things and it's just so it's innocent and so just uncommon. It really makes me laugh because I think it's they're going for a joke, but it's not pushing it. It's innocent. And that's what I like. And she was great at it.
Kyle, what do you think about Diana Prince?
For myself, I think she did a pretty good job overall. I think there's a few moments where you could tell it wasn't her like strongest ability. But you know, like that's something that just takes time and that grows into the character, and I'm totally willing to like look past that because everything else that she did was very good, and I really felt like I was watching, you know, like all the way up to the climax of the movie. Like it felt like I was watching all the way to the climax of the movie. I didn't feel like she talked beforehand or like after what was supposed to. So I think she played her character very well, and it didn't take away from the film. It only made it better. So
yeah, like honestly, we'll talk about like when we do the spoilers portion, but because it's tough to give the example, but like in the least non-spoiler way, like for me, and some of these guys might agree, it was for me. She surprised me as far as comedy. She did very well in comedy. Like I was because in BVS she's not really funny at all. She might have like some funny lines, but I didn't get that sense that she was gonna be comedic, and it's not like a quippy like jokes per minute. It was just like a natural comedy, which I liked. And yeah, we talked about her being naive. She's not, and we have talked about this on Iron Fist and about him. That was one of my biggest problems, that he's so naive. There's no balance. Where this still feels like, yeah, she's like naive because she's in a different world, but I didn't feel like she was an idiot at points. Yeah, you know? And they struck that balance good, and that's why I didn't feel like Thor. I feel like this was even a little bit better than Thor because Thor's such like he's kind of like a meathead, right? Where she's a very intelligent woman character. So I think they struck that good. For me, it was certain scenes and like to say it without spoiling anything, certain emotional scenes, I don't think that's her strong suit. I think she's good at kicking ass. I think she's good at being a leader and portraying hope. I think she very surprised with the comedy. I think emotional scenes, and that happens more at the Themyscira part, the opening, that like the first part, half of the movie, there were some scenes where she is a newer actress, so that's exactly it, where I think as she goes along, I think even as she goes along as character, she'll get better. It's the same way I always compare Chris Evans. I think in the first Captain America, he's really good, but now he really grew in the role. I think she'll do the same. And for me, yeah, that was the only thing. The emotional scenes were a little wooden at times, you know. And I'd have to look at her filmography because I don't know if she's even had to do like emotional scenes. Like she doesn't have that long list. She just started acting like maybe 5 years ago, something like that. Not even. She was like an Israeli soldier or something like that. Like, and she was a model. So like I don't think she's had to do many scenes like this in a comic movie. So it was one of these things that I think it will improve down the line, but for this movie, it did stick out a little bit. So anything, I know she might come up a little bit, but anything specifically we want to bring up about Wonder Woman right now?
I guess, what do you guys think of her just keeping her natural accent?
Yeah, and I guess like this is a little minor spoiler. Everybody on the island has a like accent too.
Yeah.
I think it's probably better than hoping she can do an American accent. You know, like I think, and plus it's like in some comics it's on a different planet. It's just like Themyscira is this like isolated like. I know it's on Earth, but really I don't really count as Earth because it's like it's shielded in its like own little universe. So you don't really know what type of accent they would have. So I think I was fine with it. You know, and it brings some like diversity. Not everyone's like an American, so that's cool. I felt the same way. Doctor Strange, he should have been British. Like I think Cumberbatch needed a American accent. Like he could have just been a doctor from Britain that moved to the States. You know, so. I think it works, you know, and it better than her slipping in and out of it throughout the movie.
Yeah. I actually didn't even realize that like that was a thing. Like I didn't really notice the accent, I guess, compared to like everyone else talking. It just seemed really natural, and I was fine with it. I had no problem with her with how she sounded.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was actually having like a Greek kind of accent. I didn't even know. So
yeah, that's how she actually speaks. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought she was doing like a great Greek accent. I'm like, she's nailing this.
That's perfect. Let's talk about someone that didn't do an accent. Chris Pine, he played Steve Trevor, the supporting character. Maybe her, her love interest. The trailer showed them dancing, so come on, you can pick up on that stuff. So Chris Pine was in this movie. Tyler, what do you think?
Wonderful man.
A wonderful man.
Great human being. I thought he did really well. I thought just the way him and Diane played back and forth there, just the chemistry they had again, was phenomenal. I don't think I have any downsides with his acting. I think he nailed like all the different kind of scenes, like comedic, just action scenes, emotional scenes. Just perfect. Like I fell in love with his character almost immediately, and just I loved watching whatever scene he was in. So I thought he killed it. Great, just great chemistry with Diana, and just I think those two together were a great pair.
Taylor?
When we get to spoilers, there's a lot about him I want to talk about. Just his character in the film.
Well, we're non-spoilers.
We're
so
not.
We're going to talk about him now.
But as a character, I think Chris Pine just again like he was great. I love Chris Pine in his roles, and again he didn't disappoint in this. As you said, right away as soon as he pops in on screen, you're just like, yeah. And
I did see you do that in the theater.
Well, because Liam doesn't like clapping. So.
Yeah.
But I thought that he brought his A game, and he pulls you into this world. Like you're so at the beginning of the movie, you're so sucked into Themyscira.
Yeah, Themyscira.
Themyscira, and you're sucked into like whatever's going on there in this alternate kind of parallel world compared to Earth. And then as soon as he shows up, like it really brings in like the larger picture into this smaller world that is Wonder Woman's, I guess, in that sense. And it just everything that follows with him, it's very quick, and it just he really is good at kind of being a guide, because we started off following Wonder Woman, so he's really good at being a guide, not just for her but for the audience too, I felt like, and just kind of exploring this world and putting on this new kind of perspective and what's going on. And so I thought that was really good.
For myself, I think he did a good job. He didn't overpower her at all.
Yeah.
Which was good, because I was kind of worried about that.
Most people were, yeah.
Yeah, because he's such a well-known, and he's a great actor, and then you have this new actress, so it was kind of a big worry. But
and he talked a lot in the trailers too.
Yeah. But no, he did a really good job. He didn't take away from anything else, so I think he did, and his role was written well as well too. So he did what he had to do.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, like with Chris Pine, like the first time I saw him was the Star Trek reboots. I had no prior knowledge. Maybe I'd seen him around. And like ever since then, I've been like, oh, he's all right. These past few years, like last year, he was in Hell or High Water, and then this, and there was one other performance I can't remember. But like he's quietly becoming like he was always a really good actor, but I think he's showing a bit more like versatility. And yeah, I think we all like already mentioned it, but like I think everything that they needed him to do, he did very well. He didn't overpower, like you said. I think he was a good fit. I think they had very good chemistry, which I find like, and we'll get into it a bit later, like with the romance. I like the romance in general, but the biggest thing is two leads got to have chemistry then. And it's lots of times in superhero movies it doesn't happen because there's so much action and this going on. It's just kind of an afterthought. Where this, not only was the romance like weaved in the story well, I thought their chemistry, they were really good. I was very surprised. Like from the very first scenes they meet and have dialogue, I was kind of blown away. Like, oh wow, they actually have really good chemistry together. So, and I thought it could be just all right. So, and I thought he was good. He was, he like you said, Taylor, he was the guide. He did a good job, and he was really good. He was I wouldn't say a standout because, like I said, I don't think he stole it away from anybody. But for his role, he was just as good as anybody else. So, yeah. The Amazonians, anybody you want to single out, talk about them in a non-spoilery way?
The Ant.
You got Hippolyta, you got the Ant, played by Claire Underwood herself. Mm-hmm. Why the Ant? You brought her up. Why do you specific?
She played an important role in Wonder Woman's
Trainer,
development. Yeah. So I figure, she needs a shout out. Because, she was one of the main Amazons.
It was hard. Her mom and her aunt were like the only two other notable.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I guess I meant more. I guess the Amazons, but I guess the whole. Because how did you feel about Themyscira in general? I guess
very aesthetically pleasing.
Mm-hmm. It looked great.
It looked really nice. I thought. I feel like there's some CGI that wasn't very good, and just some of the. Some of the shots of the characters and just like the acting wasn't the strongest I felt.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked really. There are a lot of really cheesy moments I found in that didn't really fit super well with the rest of the film, and just the acting wasn't exactly the strongest. But yeah, after I don't know, it was very mediocre. Like that part of the film, I would probably give like maybe a 5.
See, and that's one of the things I really, really liked. Like, not to give anything away, I thought it did a good job of setting up that world. I thought, for the most part, it did a good job of setting up why they acted in certain ways that they did. I think, yeah, aesthetically and visually, it was great. I think for me, it was something that I liked enough where I'd like to see more of it in the future.
Yeah.
So I quite enjoyed it. I liked the showing of the Amazonians. There's so many fucking titles, but them being different but still the same at the same time. Like they all were unique, but they all had like a certain code or they had a certain lifestyle. I liked the mythos. Like I already knew them coming into these movies, but I liked the way they portrayed the mythos. Like I can't say that, but there's certain ways certain storytelling devices that I think work better than just a general origin story than instead of just like being like, oh, this is the origin, you're going like this way. I think there were certain things that they did that made it a more enjoyable experience for me. Sorry, I butted in front of you, Taylor.
Oh no, go ahead. It was well said.
Well, now it's your time. Yeah,
Oh.
I'm done. Yeah. That's why I say I budge because I don't need to go anymore.
Oh.
And I think the actresses, I think you're right. The side ones were good enough for me. I think the aunt, I can't remember her name, but Hippolyta, her mother, I think they were great and they felt vital. Which lots of times in origin stories, those characters feel forced or they don't feel vital. Like to me, there's. Like, you can go back and look. The original Spider-Man, I think Uncle Ben's handled great. And the newer ones, it was just, he was kind of an afterthought. Where I felt that they handled all these characters well, and I liked them as far as the acting. I really liked Hippolyta as a mother. Like, you get a sense of, this is not a spoiler, but you get a sense of, she's very concerned for her daughter, because her daughter's wanting to go on and do these bigger things, and she's concerned, and she does that very well. But that's something we'll get more into spoilers, but I thought the whole first portion I liked, and I liked the acting as well. So
no, like you said, the aunt and Wonder Woman's mom, that you could really feel their perspectives and point of views, even though whether they clashed or not, like they had their own kind of priority set for them, and it wasn't very quick introduced and you just don't really care, but they were really enforced in a very good way for the audience to really kind of latch on to and see a little bit more of the bigger picture and what's going on for Wonder Woman and her whole kind of situation. I think they were great. As for the other Amazonians or whatever, I think, the brief clips that we got to see of them, they were pretty cool. Like you said, they all had their different tasks, jobs, they were all doing their own things and everything, which is really cool. It just seems like an all-round happy place to live. I want to go there.
Oh, you can't. You're a man.
It's just the way she goes.
Yeah. What about you, Kyle? What do you think of the Amazonians and Themyscira in general?
Yeah, I also agree. I really like them as well too. The costumes were really well done.
Costumes
as
are
well, too.
very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe her Robin Wright is the
From House of Cards.
House of Cards, and like you see her in House of Cards, and she plays a very strong female character, and even at this, like she still kind of plays that almost character,
but a different version.
But in a different
too,
version.
Yeah. It's not like a cutthroat.
But it's like a different version of just being more enforceful, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Yeah. Which I really enjoyed, and you know what? Like again, these are just the small side characters that they didn't take away from the film.
Yeah.
And it's just still like built of what we watched. So, good job, DC.
Yeah.
And yeah, even the mom as well too. Like she did a good job. Like all of the way they explain how this all comes together. Like they did it. These characters were really well written, and these actresses like. They were all very strong female actresses, and I think they did a really good job for this role. And if that's what they were trying to portray, I think they did a really good job of doing that then.
Mm-hmm. The antagonists. What do you guys want to say about them?
Yeah, for the most part, pretty good, I would say.
Yeah.
I thought, I guess we all know Dr. Poison. That's not
Dr. Poison.
I thought Dr. Poison did well. She, actually, yeah, I don't know. Dr. Poison, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for the most part she did a good job. She wasn't. Nothing blew me away, but it's like she played her role well.
Yeah, like to me, like this is like it's like a super mind swap, but like I don't think. Not really. It's a right thing. There's not too much for her to work with. I think in this movie, she has a very basic villain role. A very basic comic book villain of like they have a plan. It's very like mustache twirly, and I think she acted it well.
Yeah,
I was worried when she has a certain voice in this movie that I was worried it was going to be a little cheesy, but it worked.
Yeah,
so
just like the way she played the character really fit. It just seemed appropriate. Like she wasn't like super out there or anything. She was very like just what's the word? I don't know.
Contained?
Yeah, contained.
I'll go with that one.
she seemed like super, like very self-conscious almost in a way, but also just like she kept to herself a lot. And I don't know, I thought she played it really well and just very convincing. Mm-hmm. And it just fit like the kind of character and kind of villain that she is. Mm-hmm. Seemed to fit her.
And what about the general? I don't remember his name as well, but
Lubendorff.
I'll find out for sure about the German general.
General Lufton.
What do you think of him?
He was all right. He did what he had to do. He for one seemed over the top and just kind of like very evidently just a bad guy.
My question is, do you think he was over the top, or because I think I know what you're referring to, or do you think the scene that he was in was over the top? So no matter what, like, do you think it was an acting thing, or do you think it was a scene that made him over the top? Because I could go either way. I don't know what it was, because we'll talk about it in spoilers, but I know there's something you could be referring to that was a little maybe, comic booky, like, I don't know. It's tough to say.
I wouldn't say like the acting.
General like Eric Ludendorff.
Ludendorff.
They said that so many times in the movie too. I can't believe I forgot.
I thought it was Ludendorff or something, but
it was close.
Yeah,
could be.
Anyways, I don't know. I just thought I wouldn't say like he acted too over the top. Like it felt to me like the character was supposed to be a bit over the top, sort of bad guy, and that's what came across. So I thought like it was acted fine. I don't think it was a bad thing that he was over the top.
Yeah,
but he's just like very evidently kind of like the driving force, I guess, that like we're supposed to see him as the driving force behind Dr. Poison and behind keeping the war going, and he played that part well. I thought. Yeah. So. Yeah. I don't know. I was fine with him. I think I enjoyed Dr. Poison's character more than his, but he did what he had to do.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. Yeah.
It just felt like there was a bit more depth to Dr. Poison. Like she had a past and whatnot.
Yeah.
With her face. I don't know if they got into it at all, but she just seemed
Not
like
really,
she had more depth and more going on in her head, even though it wasn't necessarily put out there. Just the way he was acting, I thought she was a very interesting character, whereas Ludendorff was just like, he's just a bad general who wants to keep the war going.
And I think Dr. Poison would put in a few more interesting scenes as well that were more intriguing, where Ludendorff is just kind of your classic okay, bad guy, army general, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's all I would say. I thought the antagonists overall were well, and I think I think you will be surprised by the villains and actually like them. You know, we make them sound great. Basically, I think you will like them. I think they're handled in a good way. It's tough to give examples because of non-spoiler review, but I think you'll like them. I think you will. So, you guys got anything to add on Dr. Poison? No.
For myself, I think they were just pretty good. Like, these aren't complicated characters.
No.
No, sir.
But that's what DC needed.
Yeah.
Like, or this film needed. You don't need to make a story complicated to make it more deep. Like, just very...
You don't need this ancient witch who's like trying to help her brother or find his heart.
Yeah, no.
Yikes.
Like, I feel like this is just a very, I guess, kind of simple film in a way.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's pretty from point A to point B, one path.
But it's not like, oh, you're gonna hate it. It's like, no, like this is just an enjoyable film to watch.
I think it's the same way. Like, we can talk about how much we love Deadpool. I think other than the humor, the actual plot is very simple.
Yeah.
It's a guy trying to get his girlfriend back. You know, like, it's a very simple movie, and that's I think you're saying like, that's not a bad thing. It's just like it's a simple one tale. You know, it's not setting up a bunch of universes and whatnot. You know, it's a feels like a movie about Wonder Woman. So, yeah.
Dr. Poison, I think she scared the shit out of me. And I'll say that because...
I think she did. He doesn't know for sure.
I'm still figuring it out. So she's got her own, not her own motives, but she just has this purpose just to create that. That's all she wants. And her doing that means, to me, that she doesn't care how many people she kills to achieve that. She doesn't care what she has to do to achieve that. That makes her more dangerous, in my
Her goals
opinion.
are separate from the other antagonists.
They're separate, yeah. And I feel then when you have General Ludendorff.
General Lafton.
I feel like, because they had an interesting relationship between the two of them, and I feel like it just makes her even more of a dangerous person when you have someone willing to back her up with power. It makes her more fueled to just accomplish whatever she wants at any means necessary, and that's what makes her more of a scarier villain, in my opinion. That I really enjoyed how they fleshed that out as her character a bit.
Well, with the cast, is there anything now as far as pros that you want to shout out that are non-spoiler? Anything that you really liked in this film? That's not going to give away anything.
The score.
Score? You want to talk about score?
Yeah.
You start then.
Oh, okay.
Well, you brought it up, so.
You know, ever since like you had mentioned that they're not going to use her theme.
That's what they said. Yeah.
Like someone from.
I swear someone said they were not using it. Yeah.
I was very much let down at that because I thought like that's her theme.
Yeah.
I love that theme, BVS. I thought it was awesome. But then, sure enough, at some point when her theme drops and that score is playing, it gets you so pumped up and pulls you right in. Like, really, really cool. I know there were a few times when you were, like, getting excited when she was going, like, with the music and everything. It was so awesome.
It was a great time.
The music just really added to every single scene very well from the beginning to end. I don't think there's any problems there with it.
There are some. We're going pros, I guess. For now.
Oh, I thought were you gonna say anything on the score?
No.
Okay, then I will.
Okay, so the score. Sorry, I thought.
I thought you were saying a deep thought about the score. Like, no, I thought it was great. I thought it was one of the better superhero scores. For me, the biggest thing was the theme was used, but it's not overused. It's used very caringly. It doesn't beat you over the head with it. Like, this is Wonder Woman's theme, and this is, you know, you got it. Like, and I felt like the rest of the movie that wasn't action was scored very well, whether it's emotional scenes, whether it was kind of, you know, lighthearted comedic scenes. Like, the score really flowed with the movie, and it didn't stand out. Where for me, like, something like Squad, obviously there's no score, so that's a letdown. For me with BVS, I remember really liking half the score, and then half the stuff really not liking. Like, I didn't like Lex Luthor's theme when it was like organs being hit really hard. Like, nothing stood out, and if it did stand out, it was for positive reasons. It wasn't like, oof, this doesn't fit here, you know? Like, it all flowed really well, and for me, it's one of the better ones. It's something, you're always saying this after movies, like, oh, you're gonna buy it. Like, I'm hoping it's on Apple Music, because, yeah, I'd be down to listen to, because I love the theme, but the other stuff was good, too, and I thought it was one of the high points of this movie. So, and I think that's good because superhero movies right now, I think they're working towards it, But I think since after the 2000s, like they've really struggled with getting good scores lots of times. And we always compare Marvel and DC, and we're always talking about how great Marvel. That's one thing Marvel doesn't have. Like they're working on what Doctor Strange they did, and they're bringing back one of the OG Avengers composers, so they're trying it. I think Guardians had a good score too, but for the most part, if you look at the past films, it's very generic superhero track A. Like that's what it always feels like. You know, it's just like where this felt like it fit Wonder Woman. Like it felt like it was specifically made for Wonder Woman. Where I feel like you could take music from Ant-Man and put it in like a Captain America sometimes. Like you could swap them and not have much difference. Where this felt so unique to her, and that to me I really enjoyed the score. So yeah.
I'm also gonna jump in that boat. I really enjoyed the score as well too. I think it's just the way it flowed with the. Travis said this already. Flowed with the whole film itself. I think it was really well done. And was, I guess this is not really a spoiler, but there's not like this top like 40s or 50s or some sort of like music that
Yeah.
It's like its own original content.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what was just great about it. It's just it just made it felt like its own identity, and I think it did a really good job.
Mm-hmm. Tyler, were you throwing out a pro, or were you about to throw out a con? Or like...
It was gonna be a con. But
okay, we'll save those because we'll get to those.
Yeah.
I'll bring it for me. The action, I thought all the action was great, from the themes, the scenes on Themyscira to Wonder Woman, the actual war till the climactic battle. I thought they're all done very well, and I think some were some of the better action scenes that I've seen. That's one thing DC to me has never really had a problem with. Whether you look at Man of Steel or BVS, they're usually doing a good job with their action. I think BVS, that was a high point, and for me this is another high point. Wonder Woman, I thought it was great. I thought they gave her good fighting style. I think it's not a spoiler, but just the versatility they gave her with either she's using her fist, she's using her shield, she's using like the lasso of truth is used so well in this movie.
Yeah.
I thought it fit her character from BBS, and it was unique enough where I'm very excited to see more of it in Justice League. I thought it was really well done, and I thought the scenes in the war scenes I thought were going to be good when I saw them in the trailer, but I thought they were better than what I expected. And maybe it's because I had lower expectations, but I thought they went above and beyond, and this isn't a major spoiler, but for me, one of my biggest pet peeves is I hate action or superhero movies in the final battle and it lasts like maybe 2 to 5 minutes. And my biggest thing for me is Thor and Loki are finally meet up, they're gonna have this battle and it lasts for about 5 minutes, and it's like these are gods, these have so much powers, and the final fight just kind of feels like it's something they just have to get to as an afterthought. To me, the final battle in this is great, and it's something that it's not like a fucking hour-long thing, but it feels like this is it feels more important than the other ones, where sometimes I feel in superhero movies that kind of gets lost in translation sometimes. It's just kind of, it feels like, oh yeah, like this is, people will care about this because it's the last fight. No, like, you should make people care about this fight regardless of the last fight. Like, you should be able to put this fight later in the movie, and I feel like some movies use it as a crutch of like, oh, it's the last fight. So, and that's why for me, even some of them aren't the greatest, that's why I have to defend some like the Matrix scenes. Like, Matrix Revolutions is not a really good movie, the third Matrix. It's pretty poor, but man, do I love seeing Neo and Mr. Smith like flying around the world, kicking each other's ass, So it's like, even in a very bad movie, it's like, that's a great scene. This is, unfortunately, a good movie, but I love the action. Really, really enjoyed the last battle. So, yeah. You guys got anything to say on the action?
Great.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
Oh, very good. Great detail, and the slow-mo's well used as well too. And it didn't feel like CGI. It felt pretty real. So
for the most part, yeah. I think there was a couple, because I know there's some people that we saw it with as well that complain a bit on the CGI on that. So.
Yeah.
I think, this was, I guess I can kind of throw it together, but the comedy and the romance, usually two things that could be kind of meh. I thought the romance, I already talked about with the chemistry, I thought it was really well done. I think they give them a good relationship. It's not just your regular old general superhero relationship. I thought it was like a nice new spin on it. And the comedy is not like the Marvel quipping, it's not the joke after joke. The comedy was very well placed. For the most part, there's a few things that I didn't, and like, it's not a spoiler, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the assistant that Steve Trevor had. I liked a few of her was kind of a 50-50 for me, because sometimes I felt she was a little joke, and I wasn't a big fan of that, but I was surprised how much comedy there was, but I was surprised how I noticed it but didn't notice at the same time. It was kind of there, and it worked, and it which is good because that's where I felt like for me one of my bigger problems with Suicide Squad was it had this comedy and it didn't really work for me. It felt really forced. Where this didn't feel forced. It felt natural, and it felt like too like in the middle of a big battle, no one's really making a quip, no one's making a joke. There could be a funny action moment or something, but it was not like we're gonna pause to make a joke, and that's fine with me. I like that Marvel does that, but that's why I like DC, and that's why I liked this film because it felt like an alternative and it felt like something different. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna lean on the humor right now. So, yeah.
One thing was just with the secretary. What I was really worried about was that I think she had just the right amount of screen time.
Yeah.
I felt. I'm not gonna say how much or how little, I guess, but they used her properly. I found, and like I ended up not mind like a lot of the times those kind of characters are usually a pet peeve of mine, but I found she was just used the right amount, and like for me at least her jokes were fitting, and I had probably laughed at all of them.
Yeah.
So I.
Oh yeah, you're handy.
I enjoyed all of them, and just like I liked how like a lot of the film did have sort of like that sort of comedic undertone with just Diana's naivety and whatnot, but it was still like when you needed that actual comedic relief from like a good comedy moment, they had it in there.
Yeah.
And the rest, like it wasn't really like forced or anything. Like it all felt really natural.
Well, and I felt like too in this movie, like there were dark moments, but that's where I felt they striked a good balance of comedic moments, action moments, darker moments, and that's the thing where it's like when people talk about like lots of things with BBS and like criticisms there, that's where I feel like something like Batman v Superman, you can still have like levity and jokes. That's what this felt like. It wasn't a comedy show. It wasn't too much joking, and that's fine. Like something with when we'll see the Flash when they make that one I go, oh, I expect that to be a bit more funnier because that's the type of character he is. Where Wonder Woman, it wouldn't have fit, and I felt like they gave it just about right. And like I said, all the actors, and for me, surprised at her, did very well as far as timing. That was the best thing. So, yeah. Any more pros, non-spoiler pros we want to shout out? No? Well, if we think of any, let us know. Cons. What are some non-spoiler cons? Because I have some cons, but they'll have to wait until the spoilers review, but I have a few. But you can start that, because you almost started us on the cons.
Yeah, I don't know. There are just some really... Like, CGI for the whole thing was, like, very hit or miss, I found. There were some very, like, obviously bad CGI moments, I felt.
And other people... We didn't feel as much... I don't know about Taylor. We didn't feel the same, but the other people... We saw two other people, and they kind of felt... similar to Tyler. So it was...
They weren't like big things, but there are some parts where it's like, that's definitely CGI that doesn't need to be CGI. Like, it very easily could be done practically, I felt.
Some stuff. There's some, like, I don't know, because there's some battle stuff that I don't feel.
Yeah,
I think for me, some of the problem with, like, some scare battle scenes and Wonder Woman in general, they don't get the luxury of... She doesn't wear a mask, so anytime CG, like... She can look a little like rubbery or video game cutscene-y. For me, it actually didn't bug me. There was a few times where I saw it and I was like, okay, that wasn't the greatest, but like it never took me out of it. For 95% of it, didn't take me out of it. You know, there was a few times, but I generally thought it was good. But other people did thought that was
like there were some good moments. I felt I feel like I keep hitting on this point, but definitely the CGI at the start I felt didn't really. It took me out of it. But for the rest of the part, there were like a couple parts where it's like, okay, that's some pretty like mediocre CGI. But then there's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of it that, or I know there's a lot of it that was also good during the action scenes later on. So it's not always a bad thing, but there were some pretty meh CGI parts for me at least.
Questionable.
Yeah.
You guys want to add anything on the CGI front?
I don't know. I didn't really have any issues.
I was the same as you. Yeah.
I'm the same. I was able to easily like point out like, but at the same time, I liked the movie and I totally overlooked it because I thought it's so great. And when these CGI scenes are happening, it was during really awesome action sequences for the most part. So I mean, at that time, you don't really get the chance to focus and really critique the CGI. You're sucked into the story of everything that's happening.
Okay. Now for Ty, you said the beginning was also one of my cons was for me the like transition from the first part to the middle part. I think was a little slow. I think it took a little too much time to get more into like the actual World War stuff and not to spoil anything. I think we meet one too many characters that I don't think too many of us really cared about. Like we meet some side characters along the way. We won't get into them because they're spoilers. But it didn't feel like spinning wheels, but it felt a little close at times where that was the least invested I was in the movie. That was the only time where I wasn't checking my phone, of course, but it was like that moment of like, okay, not like I'm not really interested at all what's happening. So for me, it was the middle, the transition from Themyscira to her going to the war. The transition I think could have been a bit quicker, and I think there's a few characters and little subplots that they could have shaved off in this movie. They're not huge ones. They're not ones that have these like. There's not like a squad thing where it's like all these like bunch of different storylines. But there were little ones that kind of stopped and started, or they started and they were never really resolved, or they just kind of lots of them felt like what was the point, you know? It was kind of strange, and like I said, it wasn't like unbearably slow, but in the middle there was for me little parts where maybe it was pacing. It was because I felt like the beginning, whether you like it or not, a lot of stuff is happening in the beginning. Like you're learning about characters' origins, you're learning about origins of different, like the lore and everything like that. And then Steve Trevor comes there. Like it's all moving very quick, and I felt at a very good pace. And I feel it slowed down quite a bit in the middle for maybe like 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, something like that. Not like a whole minute, but it's not like a 10-minute mark of like, okay, this isn't awful, but I could do without this. So was there any other slow parts for you guys? Because you said the beginning. Anything else that stuck out to you guys as far as that?
Not too much for me. Like I didn't mind the middle, but I definitely think there are.
It's hard to get in without spoilers because I want to, but I don't want to.
It more like what irks me more, I guess, was
good word.
In the middle, like they introduce a lot of things, and the thing that irks me is that later on they don't touch on it. Like they open up these doorways, and then there's just a brick wall behind it when you come back to the door a little bit later.
Yeah, and the thing is, with this being a prequel, I don't think they're gonna really get answered in the future. Like, exactly. I assume that Wonder Woman 2 will be in present day.
Yeah.
I don't see them going back. There's a chance, but I assume it will be. So for me, there are a few things where it's like, if we're not gonna come back to this, and why did we really?
Even if it like is. Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, can't say it.
Can't say it.
You guys, any pacing problems or anything that you found slow?
Not really. I mean, when the times when they would introduce some more like side characters, I didn't mind that really at all. And I mean, I thought that it had a really good consistency from beginning to end between action sequences and then just regular dialogue and that sort of stuff. I thought it was very well balanced, and I not for a second did I ever get bored or kind of just tired or exhausted of what was going on. I was just about invested. Thank you. I was invested in the movie whole time. It's not like we could take our phones out anyways.
No, they said that you gotta turn them off.
Yeah.
But
no one turned them off.
No.
They just go on silent.
For myself, I don't really find any like major issues with pacing or anything like that. I can kind of agree with Travis. It's hard because we're not doing spoilers, but
I think we all know what I'm talking about, though.
There's a part where it didn't really. I guess I could see why it needed, but then they kind of went too depth into it without resolving it at all. And the way they even resolved it, it didn't make any sense. But it didn't really take me out of the movie. I still think it's a great movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it wasn't a huge point, but it was like maybe that like 0.2 or something. I was like, that was not the greatest.
Yeah.
My last like con that I had that's non-spoilers was I think there's one particular fight scene for me that was like shot a little strange. It was like it got to me a little artsy and cartoony. I don't want to say what it is, but I felt like the movie action-wise was pretty much the same the whole time, and then there was a certain scene that I understand what they were going for, but for me it didn't work 100%. It took me out of like, not fully, like took me out like a 5% of like, oh, that's a little strange, and then it would switch back to where it was going. It's like, okay, great, but there is a few battle scenes that, just one in particular that was, I felt like a little, I don't want to say hammy, but just a little, it didn't hit with me the full way, and spoilers, I will definitely elaborate, but that was one thing that went into my final score of I didn't love it, where every other action scene I love, even this scene that I'm talking about, I loved for the most part, but there was a little chunk where it's like, like, okay, you know. Did you guys have any other cons to talk about?
It's hard to talk about cons.
I know. I think we have. Is there anything you could, if there's any con that is a spoiler, is there some way you could just even in a sentence say non-spoiler way?
No.
Well, is it a... you don't have... Which one would you say? Do you think it is a pacing problem, a writing problem, or a character problem? Which one of those would you say? So for people non-spoiler, like, oh, what would be the problem?
I think it's just kind of like an overview of how it fits into the BVS.
So like a continuity thing.
Continuity.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's good to know. Okay, you guys, anything you could think of that would be like just a subject of a con, but nothing we'll get into because we don't want to spoil it.
No, nothing else for me.
Taylor?
I think that's it all.
I got no cons.
Okay, well, what is your overall, and we'll give our rating, and then, like I said, Thursday, definitely check back, because any cons that we like, any pros we like, we can really get into more. But Tyler, what is your overall rating for the viewers that are watching us today?
Very strong 7.
A very strong 7, alright.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we just saying number?
You can say it alright, you can just say number, you can give a little speech, or you can just say number and pass it to Taylor.
I'm happy with the number.
A strong 7.
So how does this work compared to when we do the spoiler rating? Like
We'll give
the same.
we'll give the
same rating. Okay, 'cause I wasn't sure if it was.
What's gonna change? What's gonna change between now and
Yeah,
2 minutes?
we talked about all the spoilers and not really rethought the whole movie.
Yeah.
I feel
now
like
it's
when
a
we get
fail.
into the spoiler cons and stuff, I feel like maybe Tyler would be like, you know what, I'm maybe
Well,
go with a
still
6.5.
factor in the things we didn't talk about.
You give it a 7?
I don't know if that's higher or lower.
I think Kyle's showing his hand, maybe, but see, that's why they'll trim the spoilers, because maybe someone will change their mind after they talk about it, you know?
Okay.
What did you think about it, though, sir? What was
You
your
know,
score?
I really, really enjoyed the movie. It surpassed my expectations. I thought, as I said at the beginning of this cast, I thought it was a great kickoff to introduce like female leads as having their own superhero movies. I wish that this movie came out a long time ago to enjoy them, but at the same time, I'm glad it didn't, because it would have been the wrong time with like the technology and stuff and everything. And I think they had it the right time, the right actress, the right actors. I think it was all perfect. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 because this.
Oh my, jeez, again, wow!
And then
you got on a roll.
Just as good as the Suicide
Pirates
Squad.
and Pirates 5. or no, I guess 9.5. So
Now, I'm gonna elaborate on that. So, comparing it now, if I'm gonna look at it from DC movies, and I'm gonna throw the DC movies onto the table here. So you got, you got BVS, you got Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman. Okay. Now I give.
And Man of Steel. Don't forget about Man of Steel.
I'm not gonna mix them
No,
all
you
together
have
and
to.
pull
That's,
the number
that's,
out.
that's the Iron Man.
I'm talking about the ones that we reviewed though.
Oh, that's a cheap.
Okay, fine. You got Man of Steel. Fine, I'll do Man of Steel. So Man of Steel, I'm gonna give like a 7.5.
You don't have to re-rate them. You can just put them. You can just rank them without numbers. You know that works too.
But I feel like you need to know this for yourself, because you're always like 10 out of 10 Suicide Squad. What's wrong with you?
Well, yeah,
because in its rating compared to other films doesn't make sense.
and you'll say, "Hey, this movie's like an 8, but I liked it better than Suicide Squad," which doesn't make
It's like,
any
but where's
sense.
Suicide Squad on your rating? Like
Yeah.
compared to this one, Suicide
Okay.
Squad's like a 6.
So
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, in the pool of DC movies here, Wonder Woman stands at a 10 out of 10. And then
Okay.
behind that, Suicide Squad is going to
Wash
be...
your hand.
It's 8.5.
Oh, wow, the rating's officially going
BVS
down.
is 8.3, and Man of Steel is 7.5. That's the DC movies. Now, when the next DC movie comes in, those are going to shift around a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, but Wonder Woman stands as a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
That was
Ty, I'll
great.
ask you before Kyle goes, what would be your ranking? Because this is a good non-sports. And quickly, out of the 4 DC movies that come out, where would you put them all?
I would say... I'd say Wonder Woman, Man of Steel, and then BVS and Suicide Squad.
Okay. Kyle, you want to answer that question and give your overall rating?
So I'm gonna give my overall rating first.
Smart.
So I'm between 8.5 and 9.
Mm.
I actually really like this film. I thought it was really good, and yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll just go high. I'll just go 9. It's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really like this film. I thought it was great. I thought it was just a good way to, start an origin story, and I feel like it was really well done. And then the realm of all of them together, of the whole DC films, I think I'm still gonna give Wonder Woman top. Then I'm just gonna give Suicide Squad the edge over BVS, because I thought it was more enjoyable to watch Suicide Squad, even though there was a bunch of fucking plot holes and blah blah blah. But I thought it was just a lot of fun to watch than BVS, and BVS it gets good for the action in its own way, but this is really fucking long.
That was a long movie, yeah.
And then Man of Steel, woof.
Mm.
I'm not a big fan. Travis.
Yeah, for myself, I was surprised that I really, really enjoyed this movie. I had my doubts, but I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. And I think what you're talking about, Taylor, I forgot to mention, like with the women's aspect, I'm going to talk more about in spoilers, but I think this is why, you know, somebody might be like, oh, why would you make a big deal that's like a female character being led? Like, that's one of the things I liked about this movie is we got to see different perspectives of being a superhero that's a female in this world, which if you think about it, we don't have that many. If you were to look at, like, the top solo superhero movies, I don't even know if there's 5 that are, like, female-led. And I'm not talking about, like, team-ups. I'm saying just strictly female. There's, like, Elektra, the Supergirl. Hit us up with, like, Marvel and DC, because, like, I don't look after, but, like, there's not many.
Catwoman?
What? There is Catwoman, yeah. And that's what I mean. The outings have not been that good. So this is, to me, great that we finally have one that's on a pedestal. I think this is exactly what I wanted. What?
Pedestal.
What did I say?
Pedestal.
No, it's not pedestal. I put my stuff on pedestals. I think, for me, this is what I wanted, and this might show my hands where I rank stuff, but this is what I wanted Man of Steel to be. For me, this felt like a superhero story. This felt like hope. This felt like real hope. Like when Superman, for me, Man of Steel says, "Oh, that's means hope." Didn't really get that from him. You know, where this to me, I felt it was the right balance of bringing in an older superhero, so something like a Christopher Reeves sort of movie, the old ones, but bring them into today's age. Yeah. You know, it had that moral lesson. It felt very much like the Spider-Man movies. Like, it showed her being a real hero, and that's what I liked. And it really felt like hope and optimism, and that's what I loved about this movie. I just think it's Kyle, I was struggling with my score. I'm giving it like an 8.59. It's very close to being A, but I think there's enough cons for me that I still think it can improve. I think this is going to be exactly like Captain America, and I like it way more than the first Captain America, but everyone's like, oh yeah, I like the first Captain America, and then the second one came out and just blew everyone away. I think this has that potential of this one was a good starting point and set her world up, and I think the second one is going to be even better because now I feel, and even after Justice League, hopefully if that's good, we can see her continually grow. Yeah. So yeah, an 8.5 for me, so 8.59, so it's like the highest B, it's a B+, but I just can't give it an A yet. I still think there's enough that could be improved.
You can give it an 8.6.
What?
Yeah.
What's an A? Is an A 86%?
Oh, that's how you're going? Okay. Yeah, okay.
Is it an A 86%? Yeah, so that's why I said 8.59. So it's the highest B's you can get, but not an A. Like, I can't give it an A because I think it could still improve. For me, clearly, Wonder Woman is at the top for me. Love Wonder Woman. It would go BVS, Squad. No, actually, it would go, I would go Man of Steel and Squad, actually, because I'm not a big fan of Man of Steel. But, like, I would give it a higher rating than Squad. And Squad just offends me on so many personal levels, but...
Okay, I got a question for you. For all you guys, actually. So, with how well...
We're out of time, folks. I'm sorry.
It's a good question, trust me.
God.
With how well Wonder Woman has fared for all you guys, how do you guys feel in terms with them doing more movies with female leads, like Batgirl and then Gotham City Sirens?
I think they're well equipped to do this. I think as long as people go and see it, and like you said, Ty, I think people should go see this. I think my prediction is I do think it's going to review really well, and I think it's going to have a good word of mouth. I think I have a feeling this could be... I thought Spider-Man was going to be that movie everyone was talking about this summer. I have a feeling this could be it because obviously expectations were a bit lower, I think. So I think this could make a lot of money, and I think we're going to get those things, but I think we'll get those things faster and a lot more... less sporadically, like less spread out, and there'll be more of an emphasis on it. So, and I think that's good because that's what, for me, one of the biggest strong points was it being a different character and seeing it from a different side, you know, and that's why I like, and they do that a lot in this movie of talking about, oh, you're a woman, you can't do this, things like that. Like, they hit on that constantly. So I think it's a good sign for the superhero genre in general. So if it's successful, which I think it will be. I think DC, you done right, and this makes me... I got out of this year, and I was excited for Justice League. I'm excited, like, we have a Batman movie coming with Matt Reeves, we have a Nightwing coming movie with the Lego Batman director, with Gotham City Sirens, yeah, we have Batgirl directed by Joss Whedon, who's helping out on Justice League now. Like, if this could be the 1-2 punch here. They landed one punch with Wonder Woman. If Justice League is, for me, just as good as this, if not better, but if it's just as good as Wonder Woman, I'm thrilled, because now we have... between Fox making Deadpool and Logan, between Marvel doing what they're doing, and if DC's doing these type of movies, I generally feel like we have like a three race of like these companies that are putting out great superhero products, but completely different. Like this is complete. Like you look at the movies that we got already between, and this is easily the greatest year of comic movies. But you look at Lego Batman, Guardians 2, Wonder Woman, and Logan. all. And this is why when we talk about it with Liam again, superhero fatigue, even though some random guy said, but they're all different. And he was like, I guess so. That's why, because all those movies, yes, the only thing that combines them is they're superhero movies. They're all completely different, and that's what I like. Where we're going, and I think DC, they have a hot hand right now. I hope they can land. They've taken the jump. I think they can land with both feet. I have faith in Justice League, and if it is, I'm a happy camper because man, did I love Wonder Woman. And I hope that is a success. I looked for an entire month. I could not find a single Wonder Woman shirt for a male. I would give you money, DC.
There's a couple at the theater. Some guys had some Wonder Woman shirts.
But they don't live in Kelowna, probably, right? So
Probably not.
I'm just saying, spread it. Like I love that there's a rack of Batman and Superman, but throw Wonder Woman on it. She's part of the trendy, you know. So, Taylor, where can they find us for this, and where can they find us so they can follow us for our spoilers review?
Well, before I tell them where to find us, I just want to give a huge shout out to Kyle for driving us there and
yes.
back.
Thanks, guys.
You were phenomenal, great driver. And
You
that's
stood up the whole way, so you had no idea what actually happened.
what, did some bad stuff happen?
No.
You'll never know. Oh,
I know that when the window rolled down, that wasn't very good because I was asleep.
On target. Where do they find us? when there was a bad smell and we rolled down the windows because we'll get the smell of the car. We were driving through Chilliwack.
The smell was actually outside.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was asleep.
The climate defeated us. Who turned on us?
So yeah, you guys can find us in the search bar. Type in Geek vs. Space podcast, and there's tons of awesome stuff, including not only will you find this non-spoilers pre-screening review, but for the heck of it, check out the Civil War one that's up there too, because that's a non-spoilers pre-screening one. And
no,
It's been up for a while.
I feel like I would have told them that before they listened to this.
We should tell them again just to remind them, because if we're lucky, maybe we get your Spider-Man one and we can keep this trend going.
I'm hoping Spider-Man
pre-screening reviews.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Anyways, geekverspodcast.com. You can find all our stuff there. We got a bunch of spin-off shows. Check them all out. Like I said, go to Patreon for the dollar amount. You get a lot of good content early. That's just our regular shows. And you can get the Wonder Woman spoilers review right now. If not, you can subscribe to SoundCloud, iTunes, Twitch, YouTube, all the services and more. And you'll get Wonder Woman review Thursday. I think I'm going to be dropping it when the first showing would end. So right when you see it, you can come and listen to the spoilers review. Thank you very much for tuning in. We promise you it won't be boring. Bye.
We'll see you later.
Later. Oh, you brought it from Dynamic Duo.